Welcome back everyone to Sarge223 Reacts. It's your host Sarge223 and thank you for being here. Today I'm going to be talking about Startup episode 10 and oh my god, there's a lot that happened this episode. So much stuff was revealed this episode. A lot of emotional scenes, a lot of crying. It's a lot to talk about. So let's just get right into it. Peace. So we start off the episode where we last left off. Dami finds JP Young reading the letter, and we get to see a little bit about what JP Young was thinking when Dami catches him. Then Dami is asking, "Who are you? Who is Dosan?" JP Young doesn't answer. Then Dosan calls Dami and she asks him where was the place to put the letters, and he can't answer. Then she says to JP Young to tell her everything, no more lies. And Jing Peon tells her everything, that 15 years ago, the grandma asked him to write the letters. The grandma wanted to give her a friend because back then, Dami had a bad childhood. Her parents got a divorce, and the mom and her sister left with another richer guy, and Dami stayed with her grandma and father. And on top of that, her father passed away, so her childhood was pretty tough. And then he says that the name Dosan didn't mean anything. He got it from a newspaper article. It was a name. Then he says that he asked Dosan to go to the party with Dami, and she asks why did he do it. And he said Samsan Tech needed investments and that's why he did it. But he says that at first, yes, he did it for the money, Dosan. But his feelings towards her were real. He actually does like her. Then we have a co-worker, Saha, explaining why what Namdo-san did was bad. But she actually says something important, that of course Sodalmi's feelings are now split between Dosan and JPyeong. How do we know which one is true love? Which again is the big question we all have. After that, we finally see Namdo-san talk to Dami, and it was pretty sad to see that whole interaction. Oh my god, it was rough. Anyways, Dosan explains that he wanted to make her dream come true for one day and stop, but that one day felt nice, that he missed his chance to stop. And Sodalmi is still hanging on to the idea that this is all a lie. She says that's not what you're supposed to say, that you should say that he is Namdo-san, the one from the letters, and all he can say is I'm sorry. And she says, was it fun? Was seeing me getting excited like an idiot and asking her to start the company with him? And he says it was painful when she smiled at him, encouraged him, knowing that he didn't fully deserve it. And he wanted to be the person she wanted, and she leaves. After that, we see everyone sad and crying. And man, that whole part, it was just sad to see. Then the next day, we actually see the workers protesting that they are going to get replaced and fired by Inje Company. And then the leader of the protesters is going to meet with Inje. And surprise, surprise, the leader is Namdo-san's father. Nothing really interesting happens here except that when they're on their way for the meeting, she realizes that he is the father of Namdo-san. And she says it's interesting because Samsan Tech, his son's company, also developed a solution to fire people because they're using AI to solve problems and work instead of humans, and he's doing it without Dosan knowing. After that, we have two important conversations that happen that I didn't think were important, but they come back later. So remember these two conversations. So one, they mentioned that there was a CEO who killed himself a few years back. That was in the second program, and his younger brother's in the 12th program. That this is a program that Samsan Tech is an NJ company. The reason was because in demo day, the teams present and get investors and they tend to ask harsh questions. And because of other reasons, he killed himself. Now, the second important conversation happens between Dosan and the CEO. The CEO tells him that he wants to invest on Samsung Tech, and Dosan basically says, no. Honestly, I was disappointed. I get that you're sad and everything, but come on, you're still in a competition and need investors. This guy is not just any investor, he's from 2S2, which in the show 2S2 is like the 7th biggest investor company from the world, I think, or something like that, but they're huge. Basically, he says no. After that, we have awkward interactions back at the office. After that, the grandma and JPyong are talking about what they did. Then we have Dalmi and JPyong eating together, and JPyong confesses his feelings to Dalmi, and also says Namdo-san didn't do everything because he asked him to. For example, the network company or asking Dalmi to be his CEO, that was all him. JPyong didn't ask him to do it. And honestly, I feel bad for Dalmi at this point because she has to choose who she likes. Then the stuff with Demo Day, I mean, it's a lot to deal with right now. Then later on in the episode, we have JPyong and Dosan talking. JPyong gives Dosan a few example questions that Dalmi is going to get in Demo Day. And JPyong is not holding back anymore. He straight up tells him he is not going to act like his brother. He tells him that he confessed his feelings for Dalmi. My boy is not holding back. Afterwards, Dalmi gets drunk and talks about her feelings. Not a lot to comment on that other than she confesses with a random person that sits with her. Afterwards, Dosan is taking Dalmi back home because he followed her the whole time and because she got really drunk. Again, not a lot to talk about other than she asked him if he can show up like he did back at the network party, and he tries, but by the time he gets back to where he left Dalmi, she's not there. Yeah, it's really sad. The next day, NJ tells Dosan about what the father is doing. Then later on in the day, Dosan and his father have a son and father moment. That's pretty much that happens. Then demo day comes and oh my god, interesting stuff happened. It's wild. So we first start off with JPyong explaining what's going to happen in demo day. Afterwards, when the CEOs are waiting in a room, NJ gets asked about the rumors. Is she really the girl on the swing from Sandbox logo? Now, we all know that it's a lie because that girl is actually still Dalmi, and she gets asked a question in front of Dalmi, and she says yes, it was her. And I mean, oh my god, NJ sucks. I mean, she is not a good sister. Soon after, we have the confrontation between the sisters, and NJ tries to flip it on Dalmi and making her feel like that story is hers, which is pretty messed up. Then Dosan shows up and tells her that what she did is wrong, and NJ gets frustrated and she leaves. Then Dosan tells Dalmi to forget everything she knows about him so far except about the stuff from the last few months. Now, remember these two conversations I told you to not forget? Well, they're coming up. So, the first is about the dead CEO and his younger brother. We learned that the younger brother is this guy. Yes, Dawson's friend. Yes, Kim Young-san. And I guess the reason was because of JPyong. Then they have this crazy scene. It was just wild. Then the second conversation comes up. Dosan goes to the other CEO and asks him if he still wants to invest because he doesn't want the plan B. And plan B is if they don't get any investors, Jin Pyong will invest, and that's it. That's how the episode ends. Just wild. So a lot of stuff happened this episode. So I think I know who Sodalmi is going to choose, right? Because that's the big question. Who is she going to choose, Namdo-san or Han Jae-pyeon? And I think that Namdo-san and Sodalmi are going to be together because certain events led to them meeting each other. For example, if Namdo-san wouldn't have cheated on the math competition and win, then they wouldn't have taken his picture and put it on a newspaper. And Jae Pyong wouldn't have the name. And in Sodalmi's case, if her parents wouldn't have separated or if the sister wouldn't have chosen to go with the mom, then Sodalmi wouldn't have needed the friend that wrote her letters. But because that happened, they were able to meet, and even though he lied to Sodalmi, I still think that Sodalmi in the end would choose Namdo-san. Thank you all for watching this review all the way to the end. Thank you so much. Comment down below if you agree with me or you do not agree with me. And yeah, see you guys in the next review. Peace.